right, we are back, and today we are going to be talking about the dysfunctional black households and fear. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about in fear is how we use it. Now, we all know, all of us are human. We at some point during in time we're all afraid of something. Whether it be you're being afraid of your goals, whether you have a some type of phobia or something, but we're all afraid of something. And I think this is a great point in time where if we can capitalize on this woke era that we're in, on this this resurgence of black owned businesses, everything. It's kind of like a rebranding of the black community. So, fear. What is it that keeps you from accomplishing things? What is it that prevents you and procrastinate and makes you procrastinate and causes you to even to ruin relationships and even prevent yourself from having any relationships? Fear. Now, I'm not saying fear is not a necessary thing. Like I said, we all experience it. Fear is necessary. It's very necessary. But the way we use it, we need to start using it as fuel to push us forward, and not as this justification to keep us from doing anything. I've heard people make excuses for not applying for jobs or not dating somebody, or all because they're scared. And we all know where it stems from. It's always something that stems from childhood problems or relationship issues from the past. But then ask yourself this question: is that the current person's fault? The current person is just trying to come into your life and show you the best that they can show you. You bringing your past transgressions into your current situation is preventing you from possibly having something great with somebody. And that is a dysfunction of yours and mine and all of ours, because we all do it. At some point in time, we have all turned somebody down because of something that had nothing to do with them. So with fear, we just got to work on how we use it. Just got to work on how we use it. It's not something that you should let it's not something that you should let sway your judgments. I mean, yes, of course, everybody's cautious. We all know everybody's cautious. And in some degree, you should be cautious of certain things. I mean, when it comes to things that are hazardous to you. But when it comes to things like dating, jobs, careers, taking chances on yourself and things like that, honestly, those are things that you kind of just got to jump out there and gamble on. There's no safe way really to play life, except if you're just going to stay in a box your entire life, which then either A, makes you complacent, and you never really get anywhere by being complacent. You just stay in a box. You've created a constant comfortable groove that you're good with staying at. You work a 9-to-5 job. You do that 9-to-5 job day in and day out for 30 years. Hardly ever do anything else. You just get by with your bills. That's the box. But in all honesty, as a human being, none of us should ever be comfortable until we dead. I mean, financially, career-wise, goals-wise, all of that. None of us should ever be comfortable until we are dead and gone. Which means if you are in an occupation to the point where you're getting bored, either A, you need to add something onto it, or B, it's time to switch careers. But then most people would object and say, oh, well, I've created stability. And okay, so look for something within that career that can spark that excitement again. Just because I said start something different and add something onto it doesn't mean you have to leave your career. It means that you just need to add something. Like, okay, you say you've created stability, right? So take that income, whatever piece that you have that's expendable of that income, and invest it. Or use it to go learn something new. Get a new hobby or something. But don't be the person to sit there and say you're bored and twiddle your thumbs, and next thing you know, you get bored to the point where you end up losing your job because you don't have the same performance as you had when you started it. Because that's what happens a lot. 9 times out of 10, we start these careers that we thought we loved, and for the time being that we did, and then next thing you know, you're bored with it and you ready to move on to something else, but you don't have no other ideas, and now you just out of the job because your performance is low and it changed and all of that. Now everything's changing. You have to stay driven. You got to keep pushing forward, and this ties all into fear. Because if you weren't afraid, or if you were able to use that fear as fuel for you, then the fear would not stop you. You wouldn't be worried about certain things, right? You'd start to get bored with that career you're in now, and then you'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna take up sewing or painting or drawing or writing. I'm gonna write a book, or I'm gonna start taking my kids here, and here on my days off, or something like that. You have to do something. Save yourself. You feel what I'm saying? So just understand that with fear, you are your biggest enemy. We all know that saying. You are your own enemy with fear. And if you conquer that, you're going to be so much more powerful. A lot of us don't know how much power we actually have because of fear. A lot of us don't know how much we're actually worth because of fear. And the same, it's just, there's so much tied into it that if you just conquered it, it'd be a snowball effect of things that would just positively impact you, and that would help your mental state, that would help your emotional state, everything. This goes back to when I was talking about, looking yourself in the mirror and holding yourself accountable. These are all beautiful things that we all need to do in order to get to that next level mentally, that next level emotionally, everything, right? It's easy to get on social media and portray yourself as something. But then as soon as you get off, you're back to the real world and you feel like shit again. Don't be fooled by the fact that you've convinced yourself of happiness. That is not the same thing of achieving happiness. It's not the same thing. Just because you've convinced yourself to be content with your situation does not mean that you like your situation. That means that you have simply created a ceiling for yourself. You've created a ceiling for yourself. You've created this box for yourself, and you don't see nothing outside of that box, so you just stay in it in fear of not having that box. What if you were supposed to be a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire? What if you were supposed to be the next woman president or man president? What if you were supposed to be something bigger than what you are, and the only reason why you're not is because you're not taking the chance? So that's what this is about. Use your fear. Dwell in it. Use it. Don't run from it. It's there for a reason. Ask yourself, why am I afraid of this? It's the same thing when we try to save money. We try to save money, and then something cool comes out, and you feel like you need to get it, or else you ain't gonna be the coolest person in your group or whatever. stop being afraid. Stop caring about what other people think of you. It's not doing nothing for you. I'll go one step further. The people that you have around you that would seem like more hazardous people than beneficial people, you need to get rid of them. And what do I mean by hazardous people? I mean the ones that only take and bring nothing to the table. The ones that only ask you for things and never offer anything. And this does not exclude family. This is a part of family, friends, everything. No one is excluded from your promotion to better yourself. A lot of times we are made to feel like we can't put ourselves first. And I'm here to tell you, put yourself first. If you're a single mother with kids, I know you're going to put the kids first. That's great. That's beautiful. But understand that your mental health and your emotional health has a toll on them also. So if you improve yourself, you improve them. You also improve the guidance that you can give them. You improve the parenting that you can offer them. You improve everything. So don't just think of this as one lane. Because we all know life has an infinite amount of possibilities. And with that infinite amount of possibilities, you can create your own lane and maximize on it. This is all a part of not dwelling in fear. Not letting fear be your vehicle. Love yourself. Allow your mind to be free from the confines of procrastination, complacency, laziness. This is not a shot at none of y'all. I go through this stuff too. Even with posting these videos, you know, I tell myself all the time, oh my God, there's so many people with millions and millions of views and followers. How am I going to ever do this, that, and the third? But you know what? I do it anyway because I know there's people out there that want to hear positive, that want to see a black man that loves black women, that want to see a black man promote positivity between black brothers. I'm not on here roasting my brothers. I'm not on here roasting my black sisters. I'm not interested in that. I am interested in uplifting your spirit, removing fear as the vehicle for why you don't move forward, and to help you see the error in all the forms of ways that you live. There are narratives that we need to break, and fear is one of them. Okay. So let's get into dysfunctional black households. And the first thing within that I want to touch on is why we should not kick our kids out just because they done turned 18. I want to share something with you. Every other race, Hispanic, I'm not saying all Hispanic families, because a lot of Hispanic families are just like black families. So, but the traditional Hispanic family, Jewish families, white families, every other family, they allow their kids to stay there until they are ready and able to thrive on their own. Only in our community do we shove our kids out the door at 18, 17, 16 and force them to take on a life that already wants them either dead, in jail, or prostitutes or strippers. We need to stop doing that, because what you're doing is you're dividing the money. You're removing income from the household. Another thing I witness with black males are looked down upon if they live with their parents. What if that black male pays all the bills, or maybe they divide the bills, but he's paying his part, right? has his own room and everything, that adds more income to the family household. Why would you want to divide that up? Because now that creates a consistent structure in that household to where they can make sure that they always have a roof over their heads. Because one thing I guarantee is most of you do not need your own apartment. Most of you do not need your own house because you're already struggling on your own as it is. So imagine if you took your mom or your dad or your grandma, your son and your brother or your sister, and y'all was in one house and y'all had income together. And guess what? You solidify and guarantee that there will be a roof. Not only that, you remember that saying, it takes a village to raise a child? It grants that as well. See, what we did wrong is, one way we shot ourselves in the foot was we started pushing our kids out the door to deal with their own issues. Then, once we push the kids out the door, they resent you for that. So now they go and get their own place, their own income, everything. Then what happens when you get old and you can't work and you still have an apartment to pay for? Oh, but you're gonna depend on welfare and food stamps and all government assistance? That's your great aspiration? Side note, for you women out there that criticize men that choose to take care of their parents, that choose to stay at home, that choose to pay all the bills at home, that choose to move their parents in with them, you are not wife material. Because if you were, you would see that is literally the most beautiful thing a man can do for his family. Because if you see he gonna do that, obviously he gonna do the same for you. What you are is you're being selfish because you want him all to yourself. You want to be able to do what you want to do in the house and all that type of stuff. Walk around butt naked and all that. Let me tell you something. There is a bigger picture and bigger moral values than the selfish thought of, oh, I don't want to share a household with his mom or dad or whatever. And the same thing for you men that have a problem with women taking care of her grandmother or her mom or her dad. Like, I don't understand y'all sometimes. We can't sit up here and say we want to better our community, but we do hazardous shit. One of the best ways to raise a child is around the entire family, right? Takes a village. So why not have, you got mom, dad, the son or daughter or whatever, brother, sister, everybody under one roof. You solidify, you will always have a roof over your head. Now you also always have a babysitter. Now you also don't have to worry about that kid getting in any trouble because that whole family gonna be watching. And if you're really good, the neighbors around there gonna be watching and everything. We have to stop with this selfish way of thinking. Yeah, you went and got your own house, you went and got your own apartment, but your mama and daddy and your grandma still suffering. Your kids is growing up dysfunctional and angry and resenting you because all you do is work 24/7 and you can't spend the time with them that they need. And you're growing content and bitter and angry and not achieving your dreams and not achieving happiness because all you do is work and come home and that is it. And you are not doing anything to fulfill what it takes for you to be happy. I am not here to tell you the nice things. Sometimes I do, but that's not what I'm here for. I am here to help. I am here to expand your mind and for you to understand that there is a better way. That's how much I love my people. I love my people so much that I am willing to go up against you about yourself And if you choose to not see, that is your entitled. You are entitled to do so. But you cannot say nobody tried to give you the information. So again, let's work on fear. Let's work on creating a structure and tradition inside of a family household and not dividing the income. And then what you'll get is a healthy family environment. You'll get more weight off your back because now you don't have to just depend on yourself. You have help from the family, whether that means babysitting, helping you out with bills, whatever the case. And then you can go achieve bigger dreams because now you have more help. We have to stop being selfish and stop trying to run away from our problems because we are hurt. Okay? So, and this another thing I wanted to touch on was recently I made a post that said, don't date while you broke. Build mental and emotional stability first. That's what the post said in the captions. Now, in that post, in the video, I explained why. And from what I'm seeing, the majority of us say things that glorify instant gratification, that promote the opposite of mental and emotional stability by sitting up here saying money isn't everything, but you need money to raise your kids. You need money to be in a relationship. I don't understand who or why, in order to have a great relationship where y'all are thriving in life, you need money. The only person that I can think of that would go against that is a person that isn't making any money but is still actively choosing to be in relationships, which is most likely why your relationships isn't working. But I digress. All right, look. Do not allow fear to dictate where you go in life. Do not allow selfishness to dictate the stability and tradition of your family and the futures of them also. Keep the faith, stay strong. I'm God.
Back up, back up, back up, back up. 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 Wait a minute. Back up, back